Hi, this is Pastor Chambers on Inspirational Faith Network, and I am here today with a young lady who's been doing big things in the rap music game. SheFlowz. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about this album, you guys. From Journey to Destination. I like that. From Journey to Destination. Tell us a little bit about that.
From Journey to Destination is a project that I put together that is really talking about the journey of a Christian, the ups, the downs, the times where we're highly encouraged, the times where we're not, we feel like giving up. And so the album just pretty much maps out that journey. And I probably should have done a volume 2 because the journey continues on and on and on. So it's from journey to destination, but at the moment we're still on the from journey part. So we're trying to reach the destination, which is ultimately, peace, fulfilling purpose, and all of those things.
Okay. So what would be your favorite song on this CD?
Oh man, I actually like the title track. I like the title track from Journey to Destination, and I also like another song on there called You. Both of those songs are very poignant, I guess, to where at least where I was at the time when I was writing them. So that's pretty much why I like them and enjoy them. Okay. You went through a lot of the song You went through a lot of changes. It went through several beat changes, and I had to do a lot of updating. That project took me 6 years to finish. Wow. So there was a lot of transitioning. It was a journey in and of itself. So. Yeah. Did
you write all the songs on here yourself?
I wrote every song on there. The only thing I did not write on a few of those songs were the hooks, the singers that, the predominance. I wrote some of the hooks as well, but some of them were written by the artists themselves.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of times we get music and beats from other people. Do you play any instruments or do your own beats or music on any of your music?
I have not on this project. I do play the drums, not the acoustic set drum. I'm a marching band player. I played drums when I was a kid, so I can play snare, bass, cymbals, just not all at the same time. But hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to do something with a song on my next project.
So you're musically oriented all the way around, with
yes,
playing instruments and things like that. Okay. So tell us, you're working on something new now?
I'm working on music.
Okay.
I haven't focused my attention to an actual project just yet. I almost am considering taking the mixtape route, but not with industry beats or anything like that. It'll be original music, but I too don't really like the box of being, of being placed in trying to compile an actual album. I'm just trying to make music. I just want to make music and enjoy it. I don't really like the rigmarole of trying to figure out a theme. And, Journey to Destination was huge for me because it was kind of my life. And it's still my life. So it's easy to flow with that. But right now, I would just pretty much be off the top of the head. And, again, part of the reason why that project took me so long was because I'm trying to fit everything into a box, into this, it needs to be about this. I might want to talk about something different that's not within the theme, but I can't because I got to stay with the theme. So I want to just kind of be free to get some music done, whatever's on my mind.
Do you think that may be a trend in the music industry right now, doing the mix instead of single songs?
Oh, I definitely think it's a trend because a lot of what people are doing now regarding how they receive music is a lot using streaming, Spotify being an example. People don't really get into albums. If they want a song, they're going to find that song and they're going to get that song, or they're going to stream that song. So you just make good music. If they like it, they'll get it. And the package deal is cute for, performances if somebody wants to support right there on the spot.
Sure.
But even that can be done with download cards the world is different. The industry is changing. So how we receive music has completely changed. And it's kind of freed up artists, I think, to kind of do what they want because now they don't have to be under a label. You can be independent. You can kind of do what you want. You don't have to be under anybody's guidelines. And I think that's awesome. So I like that freedom.
It's interesting when you talk about the freedom because what I have found is that artists don't like chains. It's almost like they're suffocating when they're under those chains, because I see a lot of that now. The whole thing of being under a label, people don't necessarily do that as much as they used to. Now, as a body of Christ, we all have a job to do or whatever, and we all come together like the body of Christ and do different things. But I am seeing in the industry, people are going a little bit more independent right now. Is that better or not when we talk about labels and being out on your own? Is it everybody's desire to one day be at a label, or would you like to see yourself just doing your own thing throughout your career?
That's actually a great question. I think it depends on the artist.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody wants to be signed based off of the old school knowledge of kind of what being signed means.
Mm-hmm.
But because the industry has changed, it's almost as if record labels have become banks for artists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the pro of being signed, because now you have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to pay that back.
Sure.
And if you don't meet the requirements, then you're broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that there are probably certain lanes that would work better for others. I like the freedom of being independent because I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I'm an emotional writer, but I kind of have to be in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to complete a 13-song album in a month.
Sure.
Especially when I don't function that way.
Mm-hmm.
In my creativity, it doesn't function that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the freedom of being an independent artist. But then at the same token, you have no budget.
Mm-hmm.
Your music is subpar sonically because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have what it takes to mix and master and do all the proper things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think an individual would have to make that determination for themselves
Mm-hmm.
As far as whether that's a goal.
Mm-hmm.
If someone were to offer me a deal, I would consider it,
Mm-hmm.
but I would have to kind of get those things fleshed out first.
Sure.
Would you allow me the time I need to create a solid project?
Mm-hmm.
I would have to get that on the table first. So no, I wouldn't turn down a good, opportunity
Sure.
to have a great budget and create great music.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it would be depending on that artist,
Mm-hmm.
what the goal would be.
Okay. Do you work with any of the youth in Baltimore City, or are there some things that you're doing to reach back and kind of bring up the youth and show them a few things? And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking that question. Again, there are guys out here, and there's a few of them that are talented, and they've asked me, can you put us on? Can you put us in the studio or whatever? And one of the things I told them is that when my project next door is finished, I'm going to let them come in and record some music. My heart's desire is to see kids be able to be creative, and have the ability to at least be exposed to some things. And I was just interested if you were doing anything with the community that we need to know about and try to support.
Yes and no. I do work with youth, more so before than at the current moment, in the capacity that I was working with the Brinklow Pathfinder Drum Corps, and that was my thing. I was their director for a while. But support kind of fell off a little bit, so I'm still in limbo with whether or not I'll still be able to do that. No, in regards to the fact that it's not in Baltimore City. I'm in Silver Spring, and so I work with my local church there. But
Gotcha.
I do enjoy giving back, and I definitely want to continue to work with young people. I still talk to them when I go to church. I still have that bond relationship with my kids. A lot of them have graduated and gone on to college. A lot of them are back home now from graduating from college, so I feel old. Great, thanks for that. But yeah, these kids, they're doing well. I'm proud of them. One of them went off to England and is doing some studies over there abroad. So
Okay.
I'm proud of these kids. I love watching them and being able to influence and hopefully, remind them the importance of a relationship with Christ. So, yeah.
So let me ask you this: How is your music received by the younger generation? Are we bridging the gap at all? Do they like this music? Do they listen to this music?
My specific music or Christian?
Well, I
rap,
guess
hip-hop?
Christian rap in general. Have you seen a trend of them listening to that type of music?
Absolutely. Being that I'm a part of Thirsty Soul Radio, we've had the opportunity to present to several youth groups, and they raise an eyebrow like, really, this exists? And we've DJ'd. We did a Sweet 16 party.
Okay.
These kids are well integrated into the urban Christian lifestyle and kind of what's out there. They're keeping up with Lecrae and Andy Mineo and some of the other artists that are out there. As I feel like, as long as they're being exposed, they will gravitate to it. Now, this granted, it's a church group.
Sure.
And so, of course, they are in position to be exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as outside of that, I've seen clients, and they're not necessarily children, young people, 20s, 30s, who hear it and they're like, whoa, that's dope. That's Christian?
Right.
So I feel like it's just about exposure. It's just about getting it out there and letting people hear it. I think they would love it if they had the opportunity to hear it.
And the reason I brought that question up is because sometimes people don't know that this exists, and therefore they don't expose their children to it. I think that the people in the church, that when I say the people, I'm talking about the mature adults, should support you guys, but also give this to their kids. My grandkids were at the house the other weekend, and when they come over, I play all you guys' music, all right? And they're like, wow, because, let me say it like this, the environment that they're being raised in isn't going to play this. So when they're with me and First Lady, we play it. And they're astonished and surprised that, first of all, that we even have it in the car, right? And that it's good, all right? And they were with us last weekend, and I said, y'all want copies of this? Yes, so I got to burn them copies of the music because they love it. We need to make sure these kids get their hands on this stuff. Because, even if we have to give it to some of them for free, right? So that they can at least get their hands on it. When you walk through the mall sometimes, they give out samples. You got what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because when you taste that piece of cheesecake and it's saying something to you, you go back and buy the whole cheesecake for $30, right? So sometimes, we need to expose people to this music that wouldn't ordinarily hear it. All right, I'm looking for today, and that's part of what I'm trying to do with IFN, is get the exposure out there that there's more going on in Christendom than us gathering together on Sundays, and having our Sunday meetings. Right, there's a lot of talent in the church. Right, you guys have proved that with these interviews that you're extremely talented and educated. Your music has meaning, and people need to know about that. Where would you like to see your music go? How would you like to see your music remembered, 10, 20, 30 years from now? Because obviously when, the music that I listened to when I was coming along is not the same as it is now. But when those songs come on, it takes me back to a place, all right? So how would you like to hear your music remembered and seen, some years down the road?
I have no idea. I never really thought about it. My music has always been birthed from obedience. Mm-hmm. God told me to do this, and that's why I'm doing it. It's not that I had some immense love for rap or urban culture or anything like that. I want, I guess, at the end of the day, for people to be able to say that they learn more about Christ or their experience with Christ from listening to my music. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'll ever get that, ooh, that's my song. I don't know if that'll ever happen, or if somebody, will ever have that, wow, I remember I was riding my bike down 5th and K. I don't know. But I just want to know that it did what it was supposed to do, and that's minister to the hearts of people. Right. There are songs that I hope to hear somebody say, man, I never heard it this way before. Mm-hmm. Well, this made so much more sense to me hearing it this way rather than in another way. And that's my prayer throughout my music and its career for time and time after this.
Yeah, I guess I asked that question because oftentimes we don't think about that, right? We go a lot of places and hang out a lot of places and we take pictures with people and stuff like that. And I started creating an album, right? And here's what's interesting too. My grandkids think me and First Lady are famous. Yeah, believe it or not, they do. They think we're famous, and it's like at first it was like, no, we're not famous, and then it was like, okay, let them think that, because if they think that we can achieve it, then they'll know that they can achieve it. I think that when kids listen to your music, there's more to it than just the music. They're seeing a strong Christian woman, right? And I applaud that alone. that you guys are doing this thing, right? They see a strong Christian woman who's out doing her own thing, and sometimes we don't realize the influence that we're having, right? It's a big influence. Some kids gonna walk up to you one day and be like, "Oh, I know who she is," you know, and we oftentimes don't think about that, but at some point in time, somebody's going to do that, and you're gonna know that it was all worth it, that you've done something to really have an influence on this generation. If you had your choice of doing anything, what would be your goal if you just had that budget? What would you do, you know, with your music? Where would you like to see it go?
I want to travel. I love traveling. I'd love to go overseas. I'd like to travel the world and do my music. I want a live band. I want to do my music with live musicianship. You know, I'm hip hop and they just assume you throw a track on and that's how you rap. I don't just want to be in the box. And like Kyla was saying earlier, there's something in you when you're creative that wants to create a trend rather than be a part of the trend.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
live musicianship is the exact opposite of what's happening in mainstream music right now. No shade, but I'm not really into the whole whiny crybaby rap that's going on right now. You know, the stuff is just it's not cool to me. But I feel like I would like to create something. Not that it hasn't been done. Obviously it has been. But I would like to do something that's just kind of groundbreaking in some form, even if it's the old school done in new school time.
Okay.
Just to be like, wow, that's really dope. There's live drums. There's a timpani on there, or you know, there's something different going on this track. And I don't want to follow what's happening out there. All love for all the other urban Christian artists that are kind of following what's hot. I get it. It's commercial. It sells. I don't really care about selling anything for real. Like I said, this is birthed out of ministry, out of obedience. And frankly, I would be content just being at home watching Netflix. But that's not what I was called to do. That is not what I was called to do.
Or watching IFN, right?
Oh, yes, or IFN, for
you know,
sure.
what you just said is refreshing in a sense that what you're telling me is that you found a contentment in doing what you're doing, and it's not all about the money.